Now what?
See the song. Monday morning. And I'm saying it's morning because I feel like it might be a Monday. We've had some technical difficulties.
How is everybody? How are you today? It's Curt and Jen in the morning, our podcast, which happens all day whenever you want. Listen, if the morning is fine, but the rest of the day is fine too. Thank you very much. We appreciate you listening.
That's right. Today is National Christmas Card Day, Curt, and I wanted to ask you a quick question, and that is, do you send out Christmas cards? Do you and Dana send out Christmas cards?
Yes, but nowhere near the level we used to.
See, and I used to send out, I probably sent out 150 Christmas cards every year. And
Huh.
I have not sent them out. It's been sporadic since I got divorced back in 2016.
Right.
And then the price of cards have gone up, like to send him 73 cents a stamp. And that's just a typical, doesn't weigh any more than a typical letter should, doesn't have a gift card in it, none of that.
Right.
73 cents a pop.
Well, and also there's something to be said for doing the online, cards that way because you're not, wasting paper and killing trees from an environmental standpoint. I think it's probably better. But I know the process of mailing them out and having somebody open a holiday card is pretty cool tradition,
I was gonna say it. So there's something about getting a card in the mail and being able to open it, and then I stick it in my little Christmas card holder that I have up each year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it's National Christmas Card Day, but it's also National Pastry Day, and I'm gonna celebrate that one instead.
You can sell that in addition to Christmas card day. Also, pastry day is one everybody should celebrate every year. Now, as far as the show today goes, we've got a jam-packed program, right?
Yeah,
The
what do we
most
have?
dangerous Christmas songs to drive to. They actually came up with this statistically, the most dangerous Christmas songs to drive in the car to while listening. We've got that along with, have you ever hooked up in your childhood bed? Or even, how about if you've ever hooked up at your parents' house when you've been home for the holidays?
Curt, I can't wait to hear your answer to this because you go home for the holidays.
I bet you can't.
What's the deal with Grimace?
Mm-hmm.
That's something we're going to talk about, from McDonald's.
Right.
What's the one toy you really wanted but never received? And then Curt, you saw this, the best Santa movies, but you disagree with the list.
The best movie Santas, yes. The Santas from a lot of movies, and we've got the best ones. I don't disagree with that. I just think there's some omissions. So we'll get to all that coming up here on the big show. Okay. It was a big, busy weekend for me, for both of us, actually.
Yeah, what'd you do? You had a lot going on.
I had some business to take care of, and did, thank you. Started off by emceeing on Friday night. emceed the kickoff of Google Lights in Kirkland Friday night. That runs through January 7th. So we were there with all the big luminaries from Kirkland, the deputy mayor and all. And I bumped into, this was one of the coolest things, Jen. I haven't felt this way in so long. A lot of people, if you grow up or you still live in a town, near a town where you went to school, you bump into old friends, right? It happens.
Yeah.
I graduated from West High School in Iowa City, Iowa. And on Friday night, at the Google Lights event, Tim Hood, who was in my graduating class, popped by. He's like, "Hey, you recognize me?" I was like, "You look familiar." This guy from Iowa City that ended up in Seattle listened to the podcast and came on by, and that was really a heartwarming thing. That was unbelievable to me. Guy I haven't seen in 40 years, so.
And so are
nice
you guys
to
going to get
remake
together?
that connection. That was really, really cool.
Are you guys getting together? Like, are you going to do things
Hang?
together?
Oh, yeah. Numbers were exchanged, and yeah, we got a lot to catch up on over 40 years, right? Then I did a fundraiser in Anacortes on Saturday night, raised a lot of money for the Anacortes School Foundation, and we drove past Toledo Lights and Ice on the way up to Anacortes on, by the Toledo Casino and Resort. Wow, that is something to see.
I know. I'm telling you what, it's like every year it gets better and better.
Even from the freeway, it was cool, but to actually get off the freeway and go drive through it would be very cool. And then last night, my thanks to Stephen Kilbreath, who I do a lot of events with, and all of our staff. We went to Enchant at T-Mobile Park last night on Stephen. He rented out a suite.
Wow.
And so we got, the delicious foods, and Enchant is pretty cool, especially if you have kids. They're going to really, really dig it.
So did you and Dana walk around the whole thing and take some pictures and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
That's what you do. They had well, I'm not going to start saying what they didn't have, but the lights everywhere and fun music and delicious hot cocoa. Those were three highlights right there.
Back to your the Google Lights that you went to, you mentioned to me that a handful of people came by from that listened to the podcast, which is awesome. And one of them, it went by in passing, so you didn't get to actually say hi.
Yeah, I actually
Right?
was
I mean,
making
you're
some
just a quick.
announcements, so I had a microphone in my hand, and they were walking by, and they said, "Hey, sounds great. We love listening to your podcast." And I was like, "Thanks," but they were, it moved on. So we really appreciate every single person that tunes
Seriously.
in. So
Yes.
absolutely. What about your weekend, Jen?
You know what? Not nearly as exciting and helping others than as yours was, Curt. I went to Macy's play opened. My youngest
Mm-hmm.
daughter is in theater at high school, North Creek High School, and her play Music Man opened. I did not go
Okay.
see it. I'm saving myself for next week when I have to see it at least once, maybe twice. And it's a long show. It's over 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long one. But if you want to support it, you can message me. I'll get you all the details. And then I
Right.
hosted. Curt, I want to go out and do this more. Like, you and I should go out and host trivia. I put together a whole Christmas trivia game.
Which
And
was awesome, by the way. You ran some of the questions by me. I thought they were great.
yeah, it's like, name the Christmas movie. It's name this tune that you helped me put together. There's like 4 parts to it, and it's super fun. So I'm putting this out there. If your company has a Christmas party and you want to hire me and Curt to come out and do Christmas trivia for your company, we'll do it.
We
It's
will do it.
fun. Yeah.
We'll do it.
So I did that for my friend Jeanette's company. She works for she owns Spark Hot Yoga. And then Saturday and Sunday, like, I did dinner with friends. It was kind of impromptu on Saturday, and Sunday decorating and cooking. I did some cooking for me and Pat and for his son Anthony and his wife, because they just had a baby. So that's what I did.
Awesome. Fantastic weekend. I love it. All right. On to more of the program here. This is something that you found and you pointed out, Jen, because I didn't even know it was National Christmas Card Day, but that begs the question, of course. How late is too late to send out your Christmas cards? Not just from a, is it going to get there in time standpoint, but also from a, etiquette standpoint. When do the Christmas cards need to be there, right?
Well, yeah, and sources say that sending out Christmas cards, like you said, for some people it's a cherished tradition. For others, it's a source of like more stress. But the best time to mail Christmas cards is sooner the better. Sooner the better. First week in December is what's considered the ideal time. But if you miss that, it's still okay, because December 18th is your
Okay.
cutoff day to send gifts and cards to get there by Christmas. So just keep that in mind. Now, if
Something else to keep in mind is the longer you wait, if you wanted to get there by Christmas, you may end up having to go through something besides the old U.S. Postal Service, and you're going to say, well, I got to FedEx this now, and it's going to cost you more dollars.
More US dollars. Now, if
A
you're
lot
sending
more
to
sometimes.
Hawaii or Alaska, you've got to, your cutoff dates are earlier than the 18th.
Mhm.
And then you were talking about etiquette. If you're going to send your Christmas cards late and they're going to get there like Christmas Eve or after, you should put a note in it that just says, we real sorry this is late, but it's, they do say better late than never, though.
Not I suck. That's
No, don't say I suck. It's
sorry,
so
I
fun.
suck.
You know what? If you want to send me a Christmas card that comes on Valentine's Day, I'm fine with that. I think it's just the sentiment that it's the sentiment that counts. And the etiquette experts say, make sure you do handwritten signatures. Don't just type a letter and type your name. Like, really sign the card to show that, you've actually personalized it a little bit.
Put a little effort into it.
Yeah.
I agree.
This is crazy.
Well, here's our McDonald's Grimace story. Everybody knows Grimace, right? It turns out he's been around for more than 50 years now.
It's the big
Grimace.
purple guy, for those that don't know. It's the big
Right.
purple character.
Somebody online pointed out, hey, there's a lot of things we don't know about Grimace, okay? Some people call him Grimace. Others call him the Grimace, as if that's, not his name, but what he is,
Okay.
I guess. Also, have you ever heard Grimace speak, Jen?
No.
Well, let's give a little Grimace speaking here, okay?
Come on, Grimace.
Look, Ronald, Sundays everywhere.
Right, Grimace. It's the land of McDonald's Sundays.
And McDonald's Sundays. Grimace?
I guess
That's how he
did.
sounds.
I guess they did have
So,
those commercials with the Hamburglar and
The other
stuff.
question somebody asked was, is there a Mrs. Grimace, and have they ever procreated? You to take it from here, Jen.
I'm taking it from here. Okay, so they typed that in. They typed in, does Grimace breed? Someone did. And the results were 0 to that question. So the person took a screenshot of that and posted it on social media to McDonald's with the caption, unbelievable. Like basically they're saying, McDonald's, answer this question for us. And McDonald's responded with just sigh. That's it. And then someone else said, this needs to be studied. And the McDonald's responded to that, does it? With the crying emoji. It kept, like, this whole social media exchange kept going back and forth.
Right.
Because they just want a question. They just want it answered. And then finally the McDonald's person said, I just started sweating. And people are saying, some things just need to remain a mystery. That is all.
It's true. Well, and people say, like, how does Santa get down all those chimneys? Well, Santa, it's magic. There's no question about that. So maybe Grimace has a little magic. I'm not suggesting that Grimace is Santa and Santa is Grimace by any stretch.
Well,
but it could just be magic, right? We okay with that?
I think so. And no one even knows what Grimace is. Like, is he a milkshake? Is he a purple blob? Is he a taste bud? Like, people just don't even know what he is. So maybe he just doesn't. I mean, milkshakes don't breed.
As far as we know.
That's true. I like this story.
I know you do.
Did you ever hook up at your parents' house when you were home for the holidays, or hook up in your childhood bed? And the reason that we're bringing this up is because there is a disturbing number of singles that hope to hook up in their childhood bed this month.
All right, come with the stats. I want to hear these statistics.
Over half of single people who are heading home for the holidays this month will go for it if the opportunity arises. Over half, 52%, they're hoping to hook up in their childhood bed this month.
Okay.
Are you going home for the holidays, aren't you? Post or no?
I am, but my childhood bed is somewhere in Cincinnati in a house that I think if I walked into, people would be a little upset. My family is all in Florida now. So, and your child, I mean, how far back you go? Your actual childhood bed is probably not just a twin bed, but a little short thing, I mean, you're way too, I'd be way too long for it. Is this where you say that's what she said, Jen? I was waiting for it. All right. So yes, I'm seeing my family, but there will be no hooking up in any beds, childhood beds. What about you?
No. I mean, my mom lives close and she doesn't even have my childhood bed anymore. So I'm close to, I live super close to my mom. So, anyway, I just thought it was interesting that people are like hoping to hook up in their childhood bed. 1/3 of people expect to see or hear from their ex while home for the holidays. And about 3 in 10 also said they've hooked up with someone during the holidays and regretted it. I mean,
regretted it.
You go back home and there's all this nostalgia, I'm sure. And then, you see your old flame. And if you're single, you're like, well, why not? Even though it's going to be a mistake.
Why not? And it turns out there's a good reason why not. And now you're regretting it.
Right.
Awesome. Somebody took the time, and that somebody is Insuranceopedia. Insuranceopedia. I've never heard of Insuranceopedia, but I'm guessing that they had to do with insurance, right? If you only thought that Christmas music was fun and jolly, it turns out it can be dangerous too. According to a study from Insuranceopedia, songs with over 120 beats per minute can lead to dangerous driving habits.
It's Curt. Would you agree with this? You're a DJ. I mean, you beats per minute are a thing in your world.
Yeah, and 120 is that's solid. 120 is Lady Gaga's right in there. Michael Jackson want to be starting something's in there about that beats per minute, plenty of stuff. So but evidently that's right there. That's where we wanted the cutoff to be if you don't want to lead to dangerous driving habits. And so the insurance people would know. I guess they say, what were you listening to when you had the accident? So if you want to avoid disaster, how about here's some Christmas songs, some holiday songs to avoid because they are 120 beats per minute or more. Okay,
go.
I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. Jackson 5 is at 129 beats per minute. How about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 142 beats per minute? That seems even more dangerous. Happy Christmas. You know that one by John Lennon and Yoko Ono? That's
Oh.
146. We're getting even more dangerous
Do
here,
I
right?
know that one? I wonder if I know. I must know it.
I think you'd know it as soon as you heard it. Another Jackson 5 song makes the list. Santa Claus is coming to town, 147 BPM.
Michael Jackson was all about the
Navidad.
high beats.
What's that?
I said Michael Jackson was all about the fast beats.
I guess so, yeah. Jose Feliciano, Feliz Navidad is at 149 BPM. All I Want for Christmas for You, the Queen of Christmas, Mariah Carey, that's 150. And technically, according to this information, the most dangerous holiday song to listen to in your car is Frosty the Snowman by Gene Autry, a deadly 172 beats per minute.
Are you kidding me?
I guess so. Frosty the Snowman.
What?
That's going pretty fast. Yeah. So I'm not going to suggest don't listen to Christmas music in your car because I disagree with this. Although it may be true that the 120 beats per minute, according to again Insuranceopedia, has something to do with the accidents. But I would say enjoy your favorite Christmas music. Okay.
And Curt, here's the other thing. You said that the insurance company, when they did the study, asked people what they were listening to when they got in the wreck. If I got in a wreck, I would not be remembering what I was listening to. I'd be too frazzled about the fact that I'm in a wreck.
Right. Well, I was being a little sarcastic. I don't know if they did that or not. I was like, what did they ask them?
Oh, okay. I thought you said, I'm sorry. I missed that.
No, but how else would they know? Yeah. So I'm yeah. Exactly what were you listening to when you ran into the other person?
I don't know.
Crazy, crazy stuff, you know. All right.
Sticking with the music theme right now, because I thought this was pretty interesting. And you and I both think that this guy is wicked talented. Chris Stapleton.
Awesome. Chris Stapleton.
You're not going to crash with his songs. I think that his beats per minute are slow.
Okay. Less than 120. You're probably right.
I only bring this up because his album that he released back in May of 2015, Traveler, has been on the Billboard's top country album chart ever since then. That's 500 weeks, which is a milestone only been passed by one other country album ever, and that's Willie Nelson's 1978 album Stardust. And he holds the record at 551 weeks on the chart. So I have a feeling that Traveler is going to exceed that. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And this is not a oh, guess what's better, but just for contrast sake, I think a lot of people know that the longest song ever on the Billboard top 200, not country, but overall, is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, which was on 724 consecutive weeks. Total of 990 weeks because it was on for that long period of time, then it dropped off for a bit and came back on. So,
oh my
God,
I did not know that.
But that came out in 1973 and took, that many weeks. So Chris, he has a good shot at topping that, I would say.
And Curt, you're going to appreciate this. He wrote 12 of the 14 songs on that album. I mean, he is a musical genius for sure.
And he's got an awesome beard. If you're keeping track of beards, that's a pretty awesome beard. Does that count for anything?
That does count.
I thought so.
You mentioned that before the show, and I'm like, yeah, well, ZZ Top had beards too.
Also great musicians. All right, this is all you, Jen. You found this and you want to share this information, which I think is good information to have.
Here's why I'm bringing it up, because it's supposedly the new dating trends, and we bring up a lot of dating trends, but I just think they're interesting to know about. And in my opinion, these dating trends should just be something that we all practice, because it's Nanoship and Hopecore. So that's
two new words you have to learn, right?
Nanoship and Hopecore.
Okay.
So this is according to Tinder's 2024 swipe report. What I'm liking about the trend in general is that people are on these apps trying to find serious relationships. I was talking to hot firefighter boyfriend Pat before we started the show, Curt, and I was saying, the great thing is when these apps first came out, as I think that I'm not saying that you practice this, they were hookups, right? Like Tinder was known as the hookup site. Well, now these sites are turning into this is how you're finding your person. And so people are going for more substance and being real and being open and honest communication up front, because people are, if you're trying to find a relationship, they're going to find out all your things anyway.
Right.
So they're,
Right.
they're saying, don't talk to me if you're not serious about getting into a long-term relationship. Anyway, Nanoship is a growing trend used to describe a romantic connection that is often so small it might seem insignificant to some, yet holds meaning. So it could be like a fleeting shared glance on a bus, or an exchange of smiles at a coffee shop, or a good morning text from someone who brings a little extra brightness to your day.
Well,
And
and think about that. I mean, how many movies before they called Nanoship or whatever? How many movies started with a glance on the bus, and and then they get off at different exits, and I got to meet that person, and they there's it's right there is your plot for your movie. We shared a glance on a bus.
right. And so they're just saying that people are holding those little nano moments with more importance and appreciating those and seeing potential in them. Like you were saying, right? There's potential there if you share a glance.
Yep.
Anyway, it's just, it's more focusing on being optimistic and taking advantage of situations when you can, and just recognizing the magic in small everyday interactions, finding positivity in the little things that bring joy. And that's where I'm saying that's what we should be doing no matter what. If we're single, if we're hooked up with someone, if we've been married to someone forever, it's like those little moments mean, like, bring meaning, and there's joy in them.
And so that's Nanoship. So what is the Hopecore was the other one?
Well, so it's basically that singles are valuing optimism more than ever with embracing Hopecore. It's a mindset that focuses on positivity and joy in relationships. Again, something we should be practicing whether we're single or if we've been in a long-term relationship. Hopecore. What was the other one? Nanoship.
Nanoship and Hopecore are the two.
Practice those two things, even if you're in a relationship. I just liked it. You know me, and finding joy and being positive and optimistic.
Oh yeah, that's right up
That's
your
why
alley.
I had to bring it up.
I love it. Absolutely, yeah. All right. Your question from yesterday. I love these answers, and I was trying to think if I do actually have one of my own to share here. But the question, the Curt and Jen podcast question, the day, is the one toy that you really wanted, but Santa never managed to get around to bringing you.
I mean, one of the biggest things that people said, and it was the answer from Kate, Amanda, and Jennifer, and that is Cabbage Patch dolls.
That was a big
wanted
one.
a Cabbage Patch doll. I never got a Cabbage Patch doll either. I think I got like a knockoff.
Were you interested? Okay, so you were interested in getting a Cabbage Patch doll.
I think so. The bigger one for me was like the big Barbie dream house with the swimming pool and the Corvette.
Right. Which you shared with me. You got the Barbie dream house, but not the one with the swimming pool and the Corvette.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Barbie dream house. Such a snot.
Steve,
I'm such a snot, seriously.
Our old friend Steve says he wanted a Fender Stratocaster guitar. Great one, Steve, because I did as well. And instead, my first guitar was this old PV bleh. That was what it was called, the PV bleh.
How do you spell that? That's what I want to know.
Peavey. Very, they're still around, I believe. But yeah, but you know what? It was a guitar, and I learned how to play, and so you got to have your starter as well. How about what Anne said? A puppy with a big bow on it, not the kind from Toys R Us.
Right.
An actual puppy with a big bow on it. Nice.
Susie wanted Legos, but they were not allowed to have Legos in their house because her dad didn't want blocks all over the house, even though she never left stuff all over the house. Her first Lego ended up being in a Happy Meal.
But there's something to be said about that, because if you ever stepped on a Lego that a kid's left out in bare feet, you regret the day that they got those Legos, right?
That is a thing. That is a thing.
Jenny wanted a glowworm in the 80s. Do you remember glowworms?
Yes.
I think I might have been. Yeah, okay. So she said my mom thought I was too old, but she bought one on eBay for my 30th birthday. So it just goes to show, if you wait long enough, Santa or somebody will get to it.
And Jenny was lucky enough to go up to Vancouver and see Taylor Swift's closing of the Eras tour. And she said, they still have Toys R Us up here. And I'm totally jealous of that.
You would cross the border for a Toys R Us?
I was a Toys R Us kid.
What's that?
I said I was a Toys R Us kid.
Okay. Well, yeah, dedicated. Leslie, I always wanted a Pac-Man arcade just like Ricky Schroeder and Silver Spoons. And he also had a cool duck phone, I guess. So she was a huge fan of the Rickster.
Becky wanted Baby Alive. I think those were the baby dolls that were actually like seemed like they were alive. They were a little creepy, I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, is that one that you would put water in so it would actually?
I think it might be, and I had one of those and I really loved it.
That seems to me, okay, so that's, I guess the positive thing is, hey, this is closer to being like a real baby. I don't know that saying, hey, it actually pees. Maybe that's not just a great selling feature.
Bill wanted a go-kart, which is awesome, and Becky
Mhm.
wanted an easy bake oven. So these are all things that they really wanted but never got.
Right. My sisters each, well, I know that we had an easy bake oven at some point, so I don't know which sister got that, but it didn't actually bake anything easily at all. I mean, it barely baked. They should call it the barely bake oven.
It did barely, well, because it was a light bulb that was baking stuff.
Exactly. It's all right.
What was your
Still
thing,
posted
Curt?
there.
What was
Go
your,
ahead and share if you want the thing that you always wanted from Santa, but Santa never delivered on that one.
did you say what yours was?
Oh, mine was, I wanted, well, this is going to harken back to something we're going to talk about here in a bit. BB gun. Nope.
Wasn't that like such a thing on the Christmas Story, a BB gun?
Yes.
I have never watched that movie in full, like start to finish. I've only seen bits and pieces of it when it's been playing in the background at like a holiday party I've been at.
Well, let me tell you, TBS runs it a lot. Maybe that was on Thanksgiving. I can't remember when they do the marathon, but you need to watch the whole thing.
Okay.
That's your homework, Jen Pirak.
All right.
Watch A Christmas Story. Okay. Can we be mad at this Vandal?
The story kind of makes me smile.
Okay, here's what's going on. In lovely Bend, Oregon, if you've never been to Bend, it's awesome, right? We love it.
Yeah.
In Bend, Oregon, there is a vandal going around, and what has he been doing? Has he been doing graffiti? No. Has he been breaking things? No. He's been sticking googly eyes on everything in town. So now maybe your stop signs, your statues, and other artwork all have little googly eyes on it, which, you know, I mean, if you, let's just say that somebody snuck into the Louvre and put googly eyes on the Mona Lisa, that'd be bad.
Yes. And, but funny too, because she would look funny.
Yeah, well, it would be, you know, I think it's maybe, in my opinion, perhaps is adding to the quality of the art. I don't know. So the googly eyes is what they're saying. The googly eyes are placed in various art pieces around town, might give you a chuckle, but it costs money to remove them with care to not damage the art. Let's stay away from adhesives, graffiti, and things that can damage the art, saying that there's been at least $1,500 in damages so far. So as innocent as it sounds, and I'm still going to say it's pretty innocent as far as, you know,
things that you could be doing. It could be a lot worse.
As far as vandalism, right? But since it is actually costing money, the person who's doing this could face charges if they're caught.
I hope. Well, okay.
That's what you have? Okay.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think that it's kind of, I mean, they're bringing some kind of fun joy to the world, but also you don't want to ruin art because people worked hard to create it, right?
If I was the artist, I may not feel very good about the old googly eyes there on my painting or whatever.
And the fact that they've had to spend $1,500, maybe he shouldn't get any like big jail time, he or she, but they maybe should have to pay back that money.
Community service.
Right.
There you go. Here we have, well, everybody has a favorite holiday movie, maybe a few. And in a lot of the Christmas movies, there is a, what do you call it? Oh, a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Right? A Santa. And the question was out there, you know, lots of actors have played Santa in the movies, but who played Santa the best? And
so
this is going to, I know this is going to,
this is the best.
It's not going to be controversial, but people are going to say, no way. But we're going to stick to the top 5, okay?
Okay.
According to this list, so, and I don't even remember where this came from, but they're like, here's the best Santas on film. Number 5 was Curt Russell in the Christmas Chronicles. Have you seen that one?
I don't know if I've seen that one. Have you?
It kind of seems to me if he was that good, I would have seen it, but
yeah.
I haven't. Tom Hanks in the Polar Express.
Oh yeah, I like him. Yes.
I didn't know he was Santa. I thought he was just the conductor. Was he also Santa? Turns out.
You know what? I don't remember now.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that, yes, he was. He has to be because he was on the list.
Okay, all right. Ed Asner in Elf.
I've never seen Elf all the way through either.
Why? How many of these classics have you not seen? Why do you not see them all the way through? Do you fall asleep or you just get bored?
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know.
Richard Attenborough was Santa in Miracle on 34th Street. This is the 1994 version, it says. So
Oh.
I didn't know that there was a newer version.
Hmm.
But according to whoever put this list together, the top Santa on film is Tim Allen in the Santa Claus.
I would agree. I have seen that one
All the way through, really?
all the way through.
Wow. So, and I know this is going to cause some debate, but perhaps you have more to offer. But I would say what was left off of this, and I know a lot of people haven't seen one of my favorite Christmas movies, is Fred Claus. And Paul Giamatti played Santa in Fred Claus and did a great job in that one. And as you mentioned before, why is not A Christmas Story on this list?
I can't say.
That was Jeff Gillen as Santa Claus in A Christmas
You'll
Story.
shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
The fun thing about that one, I think, is that that's the Santa that a lot of kids see Santa as being this frightening, scary dude. You know, so many of the Santa photos, the kids are just bawling. So maybe that was the most realistic, true to life Santa there.
Speaking of Santa photos, Curt, the girls still get Santa photos for me together, like they have since the beginning of time. And we used to love the Alderwood Mall Santa. Like, he was so awesome. But then that Santa, he had to retire.
Okay, so you're saying this, the replacement Santa not as good?
So yeah, the Santa's not as good. So I want to know where this is not the Curt and Jen question of the day. I just want to know that if you happen to be listening and you know that where there's an awesome Santa, I want to know about it. Like, message me, please, because I'm taking my girls to get their picture taken tomorrow for Santa.
Everett Santa photos.
Is it a good Santa?
Well, I actually set up some of the background in there to help him out. And so Everett, you can find out more at everettSantaPhotos.com, but he's a good Santa.
All right.
Good and authentic.
Okay.
And you know what makes for a really good Santa is a good Santa beard too. They got to have a good Santa beard, right?
Well, yeah, and I was thinking about going to the Nordstrom downtown because we're going to be downtown to see Back to the Future, the musical.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway,
two in
okay.
one deal. Okay. Here we go, Jen. And this is going to lead to the Curt and Jen question of the day here. Go for it. This is you.
Okay. Well, it does lead to it. Collector's items that you can stop collecting. It's a list that's making the rounds of collector's items that haven't really gone up in price, so you can stop collecting them. Although, here's the thing. Do people collect things only to go turn around and sell them, or do they collect them because they love them? It doesn't matter what the value is. That's what I want to know.
Well, it depends. People that just get things to collect them. Let's just say it's characters from the movies or whatever, or they have to keep them in the package, right, to keep them worth something. If you take it out and play with it, it loses all of its value. And when I was a kid, there was not even a consideration. It's like, hey, we just gave you the Evel Knievel motorcycle. Keep it in the package and don't ever use it. It's like, no way. I destroyed that thing. It's like, put it through the sandbox or whatever, you know? So I believe if you're buying it just to collect, then I suppose you don't really play with it. But yeah, we always just rip the toy open and play with it. So what are some of the things that they're saying don't require, don't save these things anymore? They're not going to bring in much money.
Well, I mean, we did talk about Cabbage Patch Kids and how people wanted them for Christmas presents. That's one of them that has not held their value. If they're in mint condition in the box, they might be worth some money, but if they've been played with, like you said, not worth much money. Also, newer comic books, it's the old ones that have the value. Baseball cards, the old ones can be worth a lot of money, but any of the new ones, no.
My grandmother and my mom used to collect, what did they call those things? You've got porcelain dolls on this list. These little Hummel characters. Have you heard of those?
Right, yes.
Now, here's the thing that happened with the Hummel character, the Hummel porcelain figures, is they went, they bought them all, I guess in the 50s, maybe 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
And they went up in value, up. And then all of a sudden the market was saturated and down. So when my dad sold the house that, that had all the Hummels in it, they could barely give them away. I think he put them all in a box and said, here, Hummel people, because everybody of a certain age had their Hummel collection, I guess.
Curt, something called Pogs is on the list. What is that? Do you know?
Pogs? I don't know. But the line says Pogs. Nearly all of them are worth less than the cost of shipping. Wow. That's insulting.
I'm looking that up right now while you name a couple others.
Well, the one thing on here, the very last thing on here was vintage Playboy magazines. They had to be in mint condition to be worth anything, followed by the line, nobody wants your dad's used Playboys. And somehow I would say if they're, somebody's pre-read magazines, but used sounds kind of gross. Is that a Pog? You're holding it up to the screen.
Discs.
Okay.
I
still don't know what that is.
I still don't either.
Okay. But you don't need to bother collecting them anymore if you have Pog. So what does that lead us to, Jen?
That leads us to, I just want to know what's something that you collect. I don't care if it's valuable or not valuable. Like my mom used to collect bells. Now she collects teapots. I collect glassy babies.
Right. I collect guitars. Ooh.
Yeah. So what is it that you collect? I want to know. We want to know.
Something you collect.
Tell us.
Let me think if there's anything else. Oh, for a while there, I had this idea. I was going to get the world's largest collection of Converse Chucks,
Oh.
I think I got to 6 pairs and I was like, this is boring.
Julian on the radio, who used to be on Star with us, he collects tennis shoes and he has, I would venture to say, thousands of.
That's true. He may have an actual, like a super collection. It might be worth something.
Specifically, he loves.
That's what we'll look for you for tomorrow. We want to talk about your collections and what you collect, right?
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for spending your Monday with us and kicking off your week. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Every single weekday, we put the show on for you. And again, like, follow, what's the other thing? Subscribe.
Anything that you can do to interact with us. Make good choices, find joy, spread kindness. We'll see you tomorrow.